In a quiet Spanish village, a farmhouse hides a chilling mystery, human faces appearing on its concrete floor since 1971. These eerie, shifting images aren't drawn or painted. They silently scream when touched and vanish after exactly 47 days, only to be replaced by new ones. Over 180 faces have appeared, baffling experts for decades. A recent MIT study found human neurons embedded in the concrete, deepening the enigma and raising unsettling questions about memory, death, and the unknown. The story began on August 23, 1971, when Maria Gomez Camara, a homemaker living in a small farmhouse in Belmez de la Moraleda, Spain, noticed something unusual. As she prepared meals in the kitchen, she saw a strange stain on the concrete floor that resembled a human face. At first, she thought it was a trick of the light or an optical illusion, but the face soon became clearer and more defined, with eyes, a nose, and a mouth that appeared to scream silently. News of this eerie appearance quickly spread through the village. Soon, other faces began to appear in the same spot and other parts of the floor. These faces displayed a range of emotions: anguish, fear, anger, even serenity. Villagers reported hearing faint screams when they touched the faces. The faces seemed almost alive, shifting and changing over time, but never lasting more than 47 days before fading away. Maria's kitchen became a place of fascination and fear. Crowds gathered to witness the strange phenomenon. Some believed it was a supernatural manifestation, spirits trapped between worlds, trying to communicate. Others suspected a hoax or an elaborate prank. However, no one could explain how human-like faces could appear spontaneously on concrete and then vanish. What made the belmez faces so haunting wasn't just their appearance, but how they behaved. These were not vague smudges or accidental discolorations like one might see in water damage or worn-out tiles. They were strikingly detailed human faces, eyes wide open, lips parted, cheeks sunken or full, some looking horrified, others sorrowful or angry. They appeared to age, shift, and even express emotion as days passed. These weren't figments of imagination or tricks of the light. Numerous black and white photographs and later color videos from the 1970s captured them clearly: wrinkles, hairlines, open mouths as if caught mid-scream. No two were the same, yet all carried a strangely human quality that seemed too perfect to be accidental. The behavior of the faces added to the terror. When villagers and researchers touched the images, many reported bizarre sensations, like sudden heat, chilling cold, or even subtle vibrations. A few claimed they heard distant, muffled cries or whispers upon contact. It wasn't just visual, it was tactile and, to some, auditory. In some experiments, scientists pressed gently on the images using gloved hands and observed slight shifts in the features, eyebrows rising, mouths stretching. It was as if the faces had a nervous system of their own, embedded deep within the concrete. The most baffling part was their exact 47-day lifespan. Each face, no matter where it appeared or how detailed it was, would vanish completely on the 47th day like clockwork. Then, new faces would materialize, sometimes in different rooms, sometimes overlapping old ones, occasionally even returning in different expressions. Over 180 of these portraits were recorded, drawn, and photographed over the decades, yet no scientific model could predict their arrival or explain their fade pattern. The faces defied all attempts at logic, making them one of the most disturbing, unexplained phenomena in modern history. The belmez faces quickly attracted paranormal investigators, journalists, and curious visitors. Skeptics suspected chemical stains, deliberate painting, or optical illusions. The family living in the house consistently denied any involvement in hoaxing. Scientific examinations were conducted. Tests on the concrete floor revealed no traces of paint, dye, or other substances that could explain the images. Attempts to reproduce the phenomenon using acids or paints failed. Local authorities inspected the house but found nothing suspicious. Still, the phenomenon divided the public. Some saw a miraculous spiritual occurrence, while others dismissed it as superstition or fraud. The farmhouse became a pilgrimage site for believers in the paranormal. Visitors reported feelings of unease, cold drafts, and sudden emotional changes when near the faces. One of the most intriguing aspects of the belmez faces is the location of the house. Research showed that the farmhouse was built on land that had been used as a burial site during the 14th century. Archaeological evidence and local lore suggested that a mass grave containing hundreds of bodies was buried beneath the property. This connection fueled theories theories that the faces might be the spirits of those buried below, trapped in the concrete and trying to communicate or seek justice. The 14th century was a turbulent time in Spain, marked by wars, plagues, and social upheaval, which may have led to violent deaths and unmarked graves. This historical link strengthened the supernatural hypothesis and gave the phenomenon a haunting narrative. Could the neurons discovered decades later somehow be linked to the remains beneath the house? Could this be a case of the dead leaving their mark in an unprecedented way? In 2022, the decades-old mystery of the Belmez faces took a shocking turn when researchers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, conducted a groundbreaking investigation. Unlike earlier studies that relied on surface-level observation, MIT scientists used advanced imaging, spectrometry, and core extraction techniques to analyze the concrete floor itself. Their goal was to determine if the faces had any biological or chemical anomalies. What they discovered stunned even the most skeptical experts. The core samples from the floor revealed the presence of actual human neurons, microscopic brain cells, embedded deep within the cement matrix. This revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community, as neurons are among the most fragile cells in the human body. They typically degrade rapidly after death and cannot survive the harsh alkaline environment of concrete, let alone remain structurally intact for over 50 years. The MIT team ruled out hoaxes, contamination, or deliberate tampering. The neurons weren't superficially added or artificially inserted. They were fused naturally into the cement mixture itself, indicating they had been present since the concrete was first poured. This raised staggering questions. How did they get there? Could they be remnants from the mass grave beneath the house? More disturbingly, could they still retain some kind of dormant biological function? Though inactive, the preserved neurons raised chilling questions about memory, consciousness, and the energy sealed within the home's concrete. This discovery raised more questions than answers. Normally, organic material like brain cells decomposes quickly when exposed to air, moisture, or chemicals. Concrete, with its alkaline properties, is especially destructive to biological tissues. How then did these neurons survive inside the cement for so long? Could the neurons be preserved by some rare chemical reaction or environmental factor unique to the site? Could microbial life or bioelectric phenomena explain the strange living qualities of the faces? Some scientists proposed that certain microbes might create protective biofilms that shield organic matter. Others hypothesized that electrical impulses in the neurons might interact with the concrete to create visible patterns. To date, no theory has been conclusively proven. The presence of neurons remains an anomaly, deepening the mystery rather than solving it. However, the strange evidence, many experts remain skeptical. Critics argue that the faces could be a combination of natural cracks, staining, and human suggestion. Our brains naturally seek faces even in random shapes. Some suggest that the family or others might have manipulated the floor using paints or chemicals. Others believe the neurons discovered might be from contamination during sampling or the result of environmental pollution. However, the consistency of the faces, their 47-day lifespan, and the lack of evidence for tampering keep the debate alive. The belmez faces have transcended their local origins to become a global phenomenon. The story has inspired books, documentaries, and research papers. It's frequently cited in discussions of paranormal phenomena, unexplained mysteries, and the intersection of science and the supernatural. For many, the faces symbolize the thin veil between life and death, reality and illusion. The farmhouse has become a shrine for those fascinated by ghosts, unexplained phenomena, and human consciousness. However, skepticism, the faces continue to appear intermittently, drawing visitors who hope to witness the next living horror portrait. The belmez faces remain one of the world's strangest mysteries. However science reveals human neurons in the floor, no one truly understands their origin. Are they a supernatural phenomenon or a rare natural anomaly? Until answers emerge, the faces continue to appear, fade, and haunt the world, silently watching from the concrete, waiting for someone to finally solve their chilling secret. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you all liked it. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you will never miss any episode of our enthralling series. We are looking forward to seeing you next time, so stay curious about the next video. Stay connected with us.